Hello and welcome to Stories, Lore, and More. I'm your host, the Narrator, and today we're going to explore the big honcho of the Egyptian gods, Ra. It shouldn't be too surprising that in the heliocentric world of the Egyptians, that their chief god Ra would be the embodiment of the sun. Worshipped especially in the Sun City, also known as Heliopolis or modern-day Cairo, Ra was arguably one of the most popularly worshipped gods of Egypt. Typically depicted with the head of a falcon, goat, or other animal, Ra was the creator god in the Egyptian pantheon. Credited with the creation of the Ennead, or Egypt's chief collection of gods and goddesses, Ra was responsible for the creation of Atum, Shu, Tefnet, Geb, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. Because of the royalty of his position, Ra was given the name Power and a sun disk over his head, which appeared like a crown. This would also be seen over the heads of his daughters, Sekhmet, Bastet, and Hathor. He would use all three in order to extract vengeance on the world. We did a video covering the story of Sekhmet earlier, link in the description down below. In some accounts, Ra was believed to be a senile king, which attributed to his eye loss and the making of Sekhmet. Ra is also credited with the creation of mankind with his tears, giving him further claim to creator status for the Egyptians. Further into Egyptian history, Ra became less of his own person and more combined with other gods and goddesses. Most popular was Ra's combination with Amun and Horus, and in order to create Amun-Ra and Horus-Ra. With his worship skyrocketing in the 5th dynasty, pharaohs and Egyptian nobles would build temples to their god, and the pharaoh would actually have his subjects address him as the son of Ra. Arguably the most famous story of Ra was his journey to the underworld. Charged with the protection of the sun, he would fight with the snake god Apep in order to ensure the arrival of a new day. When he won the fight, he would continue to flow down the river and eventually make it back to Earth, where the sun would rise again. Many of the temples and pyramids that were built to honor Ra show his journey to the underworld, and later editions show him aging over the course of the journey, with the rising of the sun making him young again. Just because Ra was in power doesn't mean that it was well received. In fact, Ptah, Isis, and Apep or Aphosis were considered to be Ra's greatest rivals, and constantly vied for his throne. Some try to credit him with the creation of Ra, but this was not readily accepted by most of the Egyptians. So much so, in fact, that they actually removed a lot of information about him early on, all but eliminating Ptah from their pantheon. Like Ptah, Isis frequently plotted against Ra in order to get the throne for her son Horus. There's a lot to explore there, and I'm looking forward to covering it as the series goes on. As we mentioned earlier, Apep and Aphosis was the Egyptian snake demon that tried to kill Ra and throw the world into chaos. He was unable to defeat Ra, however, so that never proved to be too much of an issue. Well, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Stories, Lore, and More. I'm your host, the Narrator. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and come back for more content as we explore the history and lore of the Egyptians. Thanks, and don't forget to stay awesome.